Hey everyone, it's your boy Dutchy. Here for a very special update today, as our beloved Frontier just dropped a trailer announcing their new Silver Screen DLC, about to drop next week, the 19th of August, on Steam and all the other dubious stores out there. Let's roll! Alright, so what I think is really cool is the cinema, which is pretty much a flat ride where you can dump 76 people in. That alone is very cool. And what is particularly nifty here is that it's a real crowd eater, right? And you can actually see people loitering here in the wings on the left, meaning this is really going to look and feel like an actual flat ride. I have my reservations about that, to be honest, about actually seeing the next riders, waiting in the wings on the left. But okay, this is Frontier after all, so this is how it's going to be done. Now, the gap between the front row and the screen is kind of enormous, which means, guys, think outside the box. You can also turn this into a live show, into some sort of a hall of presidents like they have in some of the US Disney parks, where you can have animatronics standing and presenting and singing, and you can turn this into a live action show. In the end, what you have here is simply a bucket that holds 76 peeps, and they will watch and be entertained with whatever you put in front of their noses, because it doesn't quite matter to them anyway, right? The ride itself is a flat ride, so it comes with a standard oh my god, I love this type of thing rating, so people will visit it. Meaning, don't think this is just a cinema. You can absolutely throw anything in front of them, be it a live show, be it a lecture about botanical gardening, anything you want really. Just disguise the screen, put some panels in front of it, and you will have an audience of 76 watching with bated breath whatever you throw in front of them. So I think that is a really, 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 really nice addition. 76 people all in one go, which means this is going to be quite the, attractor in your park. All right, moving on. What do we have right here? We've got lovely Art Deco pieces. We've already have we've spotted the new entertainer, which is basically a walking bucket of popcorn. And he's also a director, right? So he's both, which is that's definitely a choice. But more importantly, as you can see here on the left and on the center, we've got new benches, new garbage bins, new lanterns or light posts, something that looks like new walls, right? I don't think they are from another scenery piece, so I'm very happy with that. No new foliage. As far as I can see, this DLC does not introduce any new foliage, but it certainly introduces new building pieces. For example, as you can see here in white and here in green, recolorable, very beautiful sort of 20s glamour tiled walls, which I think is going to look amazing. When I look at these pieces, the first thing I think is Hollywood, Sunset Boulevard, the golden age of film and all that stuff. What is that? The 20s to 40s, I reckon, of the last century. But you know what also comes to mind? Egypt. You could use a lot of these pieces with a bit of imagination. You could use it for your Egyptian themed areas. So this is what I really like about Frontier. I sometimes wonder if it's done on purpose or it's a happy coincidence, but this is going to be an extremely versatile, a DLC. So we all rejoice. What do we got here? It looks like the rope markings are making a comeback. I imagine these are proper rope markings and not just rectangular scenery pieces pushed into the ground, but we'll have to wait and see. Frontier has done that before, that they made it look as if something was coming and then in the end it was just scenery pieces, but okay, let's just see. Vehicles are making a comeback. there's actually a whole list on their website with all the scenery pieces. So a lot of the studio stuff from Planet Coaster 1 has been ported into this pack. I think around 60% of the pieces are actual Studios DLC from Planet Coaster 1. Which also means beyond the couple of old timers that we see in this shot, we also get all the other cars, which means we can have our car parks back. Now, one thing that I really like is that in Planet Coaster 2, of course, we can actually animate stuff. So if you take some of the cars, again, not the ones in this screenshot, but the more typical sedan vehicles that we know from the previous game, and you put them on a moving platform, you can have cars backing in and out of parking slots. In a circular motion, you can make it appear as if cars are entering and exiting your parking lot. So there's just a lot you can do there to somehow give it a bit of a, eye candy realism, bring a bit of life to your car park. So, don't forget about the moving platforms is all I can say, because you can just do so much. We could make all the trees dance up and down in this shot if we wanted to, right? So really nice. Again, the windows, just gorgeous, right? This stuff here screams Art Deco. I really like how it's somehow a nod to, what do you call it? To lighting, floodlights. It's just really well done. Really, really nice. So I think they did a proper job on the new pieces. Very cool. Now this one, okay, where do I start? I'll ignore the ride for a moment. First of all, let's take a look at the fence. That seems new to me, or they have combined some pieces that we can't recognize right now. But definitely looks really clever. The cart, what is that? Decoration. This is a normal counter, and then they decorated it. I'm not sure. Is that wheel? Is that from the mythological theme, or is it just a brand new type of wheel? It looks good nonetheless. So very happy with that. We can have those old-timey popcorn carts. The fencing here is definitely new. I think, yeah, this is also very much Art Deco and movie theater. So here we have again those planters that we saw in the first bit, right? That we saw right here. We just now get a closer look. I think they look fantastic. I love the golden sphere. There's one thing that's I felt was always missing, and I hope we get more than just a sphere. I also hope we get rectangles and blocks and pyramids and what have you not. A metallic coating. That's the one thing that I always felt was missing from the art shapes. So I'm pretty chuffed to see these make an entry. And then, of course, there's the ride. Obviously, undecorated like this, it's the most boring thing you've ever seen. But imagine putting a trunk, big flappy ears, and there's your Dumbo ride. Or you turn them, we already got the wings, so you can turn them into flying eagles. Or if you somehow manage to tie a balloon on top, then it'll look like that, or like mini zeppelins or tiny airplanes. Or you've got so much space at the back and the front, and and there's nothing that covers it from above. So you've got 3 dimensions where you can slap on anything you want. So this is going to be probably the most versatile flat ride in Planet Coaster to date. Then there's this one, Fly in Phantasialand. It's very much like this coaster. So you can have a dark ride experience, but then also have it act as a flying coaster. It's just really, really cool. I think the cars look perfectly unremarkable, and that's exactly what you want. So what's going to be interesting there is just seeing how the parts that are inside, how they can be operated. Apparently, people can be strapped in their little harnesses, and then they can be moving from left to right. They can rotate on their own axis. Very, very interesting stuff. And again, we've got those great spotlights here that will be doing so much lifting. Actually, also on the left, we can see that wall that I mentioned earlier. That looks really great. The texture, you know, the grooves that somehow look etched into it. It's just, it looks fantastic. All right, moving on beyond this part. Again, great scenery, new stuff in the back. What do we got next again? This is now for our American friends. There's been a whole discussion about this on one of the Discords that I'm on. This is the Dance Macabre in Efteling. If you haven't seen it, go ahead, watch any video you can find on YouTube so that this ride makes sense to you, because I think there's pretty much only one of them. Someone mentioned that it's pretty much a teacup ride on a wobbly table, and I think that's accurate. But you can do so much with the ride theming, and it's just an amazing ride. And again, I think it can take in around 50 people at once, if I'm not mistaken. What do we got there? 5 per bench, don't we? And then we got 15. No, what am I saying? 6 per bench. So we got 18. And we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is 6. That's around 100 people. That's pretty amazing. So imagine having the cinema and then having the Dance Macabre in your park. And that'll be quite the way to control your crowds. And of course to draw people in. Very cool. No idea why some people are watching this with sunglasses on, by the way. That's peculiar. Go back one more time. Let's just take another look at that, by the way. Dance Macabre, ladies and gentlemen. As seen in the Efteling, a park that Frontier takes a lot of inspiration from, I think. Strange that this wasn't included in the Sorcery Pack, by the way. This would fit so well with any magic and, you know, any wizardry stuff. Instead, they somehow turned this into a 1920s night at the movies and a disco afterwards. No idea what they were going for. I appreciate the enthusiasm. And of course, I am just very glad that we got to see this ride in Planet Coaster. Look at there, the girl with the sunglasses. Oh, she's having a little rave. Look, you see her on the right? It just looks so, it's just so well done. I mean, even in a what I would consider a lowly themed surrounding, it just looks crazy. Really, really impressive. So I'm chuffed. Look at that. I don't think I've ever saw anyone really utilizing them. I think they look pretty shitty without any theming. Don't much care for the colors here, but the tram tour makes a comeback. I'm not sure if you could use them as a transportation vehicle. This is my little pet peeve with some of the rides. It'd be extremely nice if we could use some of the train-like rides. For example, the mini train, the miniature train. It will make for such a great little tourist train, like you see in some of the cities, right? Where people sit in that train, and it's not as big as a real steam train. It's just a little train, and it'd be nice to have more than one station, so we could actually use it as a mode of transportation. But here we are. This looks very familiar, right? This is pretty much everything in this screen was in the original Studios DLC. Including the explosion, the police officers, you know, there are the typical animatronics with sticks up their asses. One of the reasons probably why they've got these sticks up their asses is otherwise they would look like actual people being blown away, and that might change the ratings for this game. Remember, this needs to be a game that's for all ages so that they don't get classified as something different. Then the flying platform. Again, this is something I didn't really see that much utilized in Planet Coaster 1. I didn't see too many videos of people creating rides, dark rides. This is definitely a dark rides heavy pack, for which I'm very grateful. But yeah, we'll see where this one is going. I would love to see people using this and create, you know, beautiful dioramas and dramas, let's put it that way. Now this one, I think I'm most excited about this. So apparently you can either create, now this is the question, isn't it? Am I looking at two different rides, two different what do you call them? What's the word again in Planet Coaster? Trajectory rides or something. Um, am I looking at two different ones, or are they truly racing? I'm leaning, knowing Frontier, to the first. So you can, I guess, choose two vehicles. One old timer that looks like something of a cross between a Bentley and a Rover, and a more nondescript modern vehicle, I guess. Either way, what I think is cool is that there's a clear slant, a clear bending here going on in the track. So this was the thing that I think we struggled with back in the first version, where you could do a cars ride, but you didn't really have the asphalt, the road to go with it. So whenever you would do a sharp bend, you would have to find creative ways to somehow fill it in, which never looked that great. So here, it really goes along the track, no matter, no matter the curves and the bends, and I think that's just really, really cool. Yeah, these are going to be amazing. They also, by the way, Frontier did an amazing job on this trailer. It's really slick. It really excites you. So good job, Frontier. Well, you know what, guys? I think that's a wrap. Thanks. Break a leg. See you next time.